So the Black church was founded towards the end of slavery. The first church was the AME church. And what churches used to do before they were named churches, they were called hush harbors. Churches acted as hush harbors to serve as safe spaces, safe houses for enslaved Africans in their pursuit to freedom. So churches have always been as an anchor and a resource and a place of safety within the Black community to really provide whatever that need was at the time. The reason why we are doing what we are doing, right, because a lot of communities, especially Black communities, are deeply impacted by food insecurity and food apartheid. And we are seeking to create a sustainable solution where those who are closest to the problem will be those who are the ones who will lead the solution of addressing that problem. But instead, what we don't need is anyone to save the day. What we need is access to those resources to really change the material conditions of our community. And that's what the mission of the Black Church Food Security Network, that's what we're seeking to do. Because we firmly believe that we have everything that we need in order to change the material conditions of our community. So we can say no colonizers, no food charity folks. Instead, let us work together. Let us put all of our resources and assets in a pot. Let us have these deep conversations to create those sustainable institutions and infrastructure around food security. And that's why much of our work is rooted within the Black church. So food apartheid is the systemic self-destruction of Black self-determination to control their food system. And that looks like so many different things, right? That looks like predatory marketing. Another example of food apartheid is Black land robbery or Black land loss. So in the 1920s, Black farmers owned 16 million acres. Today, it's less than 2% of that. So less than 2% probably is what, like 2 million acres, or 1,500,000 acres, something around that range, right? And that disconnected Black folks from trying to grow their own food. So that put us in a position to be dependent on organizations, to be dependent on corporations, to be dependent on restaurants, whatever, where we would get our fresh food from. And Black land loss is, or there are so many things that can be attributed to Black land loss, such as USDA predatory lending habits, bank lending habits, different things like that is the reason why Black farmers' land was taken from them. So that put us in a position where we had to be dependent on outside influences to come in and feed us. And we were founded, the Black Church Food Security Network was founded in 2015 in the midst of the uprising, the Baltimore Uprising. So in the midst of the Baltimore Uprising, a lot of those fast food restaurants, those corner stores, those food retail outlets were shut down in the middle of the uprising. So therefore, there were Black communities in 2015 in the middle of this uprising that did not have access to food because they shut down. Those food retail outlets shut down completely. And we realized that we didn't want to be in that position. A lot of churches have land surrounding their church that is underutilized. They only mow it. So we see a greater purpose and a larger purpose to the utilization of that land. And one of those purposes is to feed your community. So you can turn that land into a community garden to grow local produce and fresh and organic produce to distribute to your community. And that's a way of community engagement, bringing the community in, so therefore they can learn agriculture and learn new trades. So we, in the spirit of that, right, in the mix of COVID-19, we started the seed bank. We said we have seeds. And when COVID first hit in March and April, there was a back order of seeds from different seed companies. So we realized that when the grocery store shelves were empty, we didn't want to be dependent again. So we started a seed bank to distribute and to mail seeds across the country to people who want to start growing their own food on their balcony, in their kitchen, in their backyard, or whatever open space they have available. And towards the end of this season, in November, we will start getting seeds back to continue to use seeds to populate our seed bank. So next growing season in February, and before growing season, we can go ahead and mail them out again and then get them right back. So we can continue to support gardening efforts across the country. So our programs are a continuation of the blueprint that was laid by our ancestors. So we continue to study, we continue to be in communication with our ancestors, because the blueprint is already laid to address the problems that we're experiencing today. So we want to make sure that we have a clear vision and a clear strategy and a clear way forward to continue their work. All in all, we are seeking to create agency around our food as well as control on our food, because market demands, decisions will put us in a place of dependence. And as long as we in a place of dependence, someone else will always control what's on our plate. So if we want to change our health of the community health of an area, then we will have to put ourselves in the defining moment to define, or in the position to define what's on our plate.